Welcome to another day, and it is Devoted to a Soldier Resource Panel, and today we are talking about entrepreneurship, and I am so blessed. This is very cool because I have two sides of the world here. So we have Dean with Authentically American and Elle with Soldier Socks, and so we got top and we got bottom. We have a civilian that is, military based, and then a veteran that is, veteran based. So I love this concept. I love this discussion that we're going to have. You don't even know how pumped I am. I've got my Lift Vet t-shirt on. The other day I had Authentically American on. I got my socks. The whole family has their socks. I'm like jazzed up. I've had way too much coffee today. So let's get started.
Danny is fired up here.
I am. This is like my third podcast today. It's my birthday Saturday. I got my new car. My husband got me a car. I'm like, come on, it can't get any better. Now I'm with you guys.
Awesome.
So let's tell everybody a little bit about who you are and just like a synopsis, a quick snippet of what you do and your company. And ladies first, Miss Elle.
Okay, I am Elle Ruger. I am the founder of Soldier Socks. And we are a sock company that for every pair of socks we sell, we donate a pair to an active member of the military. All of our socks are made here in North Carolina, so USA manufacturing. Got that in common with you, Dean. And we've been in business for just over 2 years.
Wow, so a baby. That's like a baby company.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very cool. And Dean, how about yourself?
I'm a fellow baby. We're not that old, but I will start out with the personal, most important stuff. So a man of Christian faith, also a family man. My wife and I have been married 25 years. We have 4 kids, 2 daughters, 21 and 18, a 15-year-old son and a 10-year-old son we adopted from Ethiopia. So family's more important. I'm also a veteran. So went to West Point, served 7 years active duty, went to flight school, also went to Ranger school. And Al, I got about a year head start on you. We launched Authentically American in July of 2017. So if we survive 2 more months, it will be 3 years. And Authentically American, we're a veteran-owned, American-made apparel brand. Everything we do, no exceptions, is made right here in the U.S.
See? 100%. Hoorah. Yay, America. That's what I love. That's why I own both of your products and promote the crap out of it. So let's just get right into business. And I have my notes here because I want to make sure that I hit on some topics here. So first we have this transitional piece, right? Transition from military, active duty to veteran. But then we also have a transition into starting your own business, that itself. And when I was thinking about this, very similar, the fears, the struggles, the uncertainties that can happen. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And Dean, let's start with you. Did you personally find similarities of making the transition from active duty to civilian, veteran, that was similar to starting a new business, like that new entrepreneur, like risk?
And it's interesting, Danny, because what I started out doing after the Army is very much different. And I didn't know any different. My father worked for Alcoa, which was a massive Fortune 500 company. And when I left the Army in 2000, I thought, well, I need to go work for a big company. So started with a Big 5 consulting firm and then worked for Procter & Gamble with brands like Crest and Tide, and then worked at Mars, brands like M&M's and Snickers. And I mean, it was obviously different because it was corporate America versus military, but it was, a big organization, big structure. And it wasn't until arriving here in 2010 in Nashville, and ultimately a motivation to stay in Nashville, a personal decision, led me down the entrepreneur path. And I will tell you, it is night and day different from, the big corporate America to what I'm doing. And I'm sure Elle can highlight that as well. I mean, 3 years ago, Danny, this is what our business plan looked like. I mean, it was a blank sheet of paper, and here we are now. And I mean, it's scary. I mean, I had stress back at Procter & Gamble. I had stress at Mars, but not the stress of, okay, are we going to meet payroll this week? Are we going to have any money left to pay everybody? I mean, it's night and day difference. And I mean, those are some of the challenges. But on the flip side, one of the main reasons that we took this big risk as a family is, it was great working for these big companies, felt very well compensated, but here really is a chance for us to really create jobs, a chance to make a difference, and really leave a legacy.
Yeah. How about you, Elle? I mean, you didn't have the military transition, but forget it.
Did he like what I said or not like what I said?
I don't know. My husband's in the other room and she wants him. I'm just going to let her go. What do you do? You're at home, you're live. Yeah. I don't know. Well, can you hear me? She's going to have a fit here for a second.
No worries.
I don't know. I give up. But Elle, you didn't have that military transition, but what made you get into this? And then why give back to soldiers? I mean, do you have a certain connection to that?
Yeah. So my dad was in the Army. My husband's father and grandfather both fought in World War II and the Korean War. And my uncle, it was a West Point grad as well. So we have a huge history of family members who have served. And the idea actually came when we had a friend who was deployed to Afghanistan in 2010 and would send him socks and care packages. And when he got home, the socks were all he talked about in the care package. He didn't care about anything else we put in there. The socks were the game changer and how important they were. We didn't even think about how that could be important. And so when he told us that, that's kind of when the seed was planted. But I actually transitioned from a stay-at-home mom into starting this company. So that was a little bit of a challenge, to say the least. I do think often if I had started it, because the idea was 2010, I didn't have my son until 2016. So I do often think if we had started it earlier, just having that endless time to dedicate to solely that, where we would be right now. But I have no regrets because I really think everything happens for a reason, and we are here at this point for this reason. And so it was definitely a challenge. My son we started the process 2015, so I was pregnant with him. So he was an infant when we pretty much launched this. But
wow. So I want to talk a little bit about perceiving of weakness, because when you lean on people, that's a common thing in anything. I mean, a transition of any kind of something new is having that support system, being able to lean on family, lean on friends. That can also be when you have a certain mindset. I find that you can see that as a weakness, and then you don't want to be. You want to be better off than you are. You want to perceive yourself to be stronger than you are. You want to pretend that you've got all your ducks in a row and your business plan is on fire. I mean, these are all things that can be a perception of weakness. How did you, or maybe you didn't, and you had to learn to kind of let that go? Dean, what did that look like? Or how do you handle weakness per se? I see weakness as a strength, FYI, because without it, you can't learn and grow. So.
Well, Danny, I will tell you very early in my career, and I think part of this was, a tribute to the military, because they break you down and they build you up and they want to build strength. They want to build confidence. And, part of the immaturity with me early on, I thought, well, I want to be the smartest guy in the room. Mm-hmm. And I started to figure out that was very limiting because I wasn't even the smartest person in my home. And, as we started to realize that, there was really power and strength in trying to find people, especially when I started to get into the business side and being able to hire people, that my goal was always, how do I find people that are smarter than me? How do I surround myself with people that have better ideas, that have more creativity? I mean, the list goes on and on, the things that I want to find. And then I've just found that makes me stronger, that makes me better, that makes the whole team stronger. And more and more, the theory for me, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's part of our team. That's part of not only leaning on our team, but leaning on, the network that I've built and the connections out there, because it's amazing. People really genuinely want to help.
Yeah. Yeah, that is great. Did you have any of that? I mean, being like, I have to be, going from a stay-at-home mom, which is freaking hard as bejeebas. I mean, but did you feel that, gosh, I have to portray myself as this CEO or this business owner or something other than you really were? And if so, how did you fight that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there was this need to have everything figured out. And it was definitely a process. It was not something that we figured out all at once. Fortunately, my husband has been in the retail industry for close to 2 decades now. So he had a wealth of knowledge that I could pull from, which was very helpful. And then just to touch a little bit on what Dean was saying, I feel like the sign of a good leader is someone who knows their strengths and their weaknesses, and then they surround themselves with the people who can kind of fill in the gaps of where you're falling short, because we all fall short somewhere. No matter how put together you are, how many ducks in a row you have, you're always going to fall short somewhere, and someone's going to have to kind of fill in those gaps. So I agree 100% with what Dean was saying. We found a network of people that we were able to surround ourselves with who were able to impart knowledge in fields I may not have known. And always a good Google search came in handy when you couldn't really find the answer with anybody in your network.
I do love Google and YouTube for that. I didn't realize that YouTube is actually more used for searching items than Google. Did you know that?
Wow.
Yeah, I found that fact and I was like, awesome, I'm going to start doing that. But I could be spreading lies all over the place. What you read on the internet is not.
Danny said it must be gospel.
So
it's happening in our house. It's happening in our house right now.
So I want to talk so we have military. Is there a difference that you have found that marketing from a veteran to another veteran, or military to a civilian, or civilian to military? Does that make sense? Like we have a civilian and we have a veteran. Is marketing different to either one of those concepts? I don't even know if I'm saying that question right. I can see it perfectly mapped out in my head. I guess it's confused. Okay, Dean, let me start over.
So I'll just give my perspective, Danny. So our marketing message has not changed. If you think of the ethos of Authentically American, we already talked about us being a veteran-owned, American-made brand. Everything we do, no exceptions, is made in U.S. But the ethos of our brand, we're a brand that celebrates patriotism. We're a brand that believes in the American worker, and we're also a brand that honors our American heroes. We very intentionally, Danny, donate 10% of our profits to veteran and first responder charities. So that's who we are. But one of the mistakes made over the first 2 years is we tried to be all things to all people and really spread our message too broadly. And as we started realizing this isn't working too well, we thought we'd be here and we're only here. And what was the problem? It was a lack of focus, lack of targeting. And really 2020 was the year for us that we really started focusing. And it really ties into the veteran, because our message and the ethos of our brand resonates broadly. But what we found is it resonates so fast, so quickly with the veteran community. So there's two sides of our business. But Danny, we've talked about it before. The consumer side. So you can go online, buy your new favorite t-shirt, your new favorite polo, anything apparel related. But you as a business can also come online. Instead of buying a Nike polo, for example, you can buy an Authentically American polo that has your company logo on it. And what we've done this year, we are targeting our message to veteran-owned companies, to veteran-operated businesses, veteran retail. We're in the AFES, Army and Air Force Exchange. We're working with veteran charities because veterans, the military community, they get it, they understand it, they respect our brand. And a sales cycle that would take this long broadly, I should put my hands here now, is like this.
I got
So
you.
the summary message has not changed. It's just our targeting of it is different.
It has changed. Good. And how about for you, Al, from a civilian side, but so strongly committed to the military?
Yeah, so our approach really was in the beginning, being civilian, we wanted to earn the trust of the military community, because it's not that common that you'll find a civilian company that gives back to the military community in the way that our company is. Usually it's a veteran-owned company that will be giving back. And we actually get mistaken as a veteran-owned company often. So we usually have to let people know we are not, right off the bat, we're civilian owned, no stolen valor here, please. But yeah, I would say that earning the military community's trust was first and foremost for us. And then for target marketing, it was a little bit challenging, to say the least, because we sell socks and everyone in the entire country wears socks. And then it was like, okay, so what is our next market? And it was military supporters and patriots. And fortunately, that's one thing most people in this country agree on, is that we support our troops and have patriots that love our country. So it was a challenge, to say the least, to find that demographic of who we were targeting and letting our message be heard and giving back to the community as well. But I would say that we really honed in just more with saying that everyone knows somebody who is either serving or has served in this country. And so we all wear socks. We all serve. So everyone can find something. But I would say the biggest thing for us, though, was finding people who never really put value on quality socks. So they would just buy, you know, those dime a dozen packs that you go through every month, and you just get another one. And so when we were able to target them and put them in good quality socks, that was really a game changer, because it was eye-opening for them to know.
She likes socks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My house is, everybody's invading my house today. They didn't get the be quiet at 6 o'clock note. 6 children, someone's bound to come home and not listen. Speaking of family. So I want to go back to like the fundamentals, because there's so many veterans coming out. I think, I forget the number, so I'm not going to say it, but a very high percentage of veterans become entrepreneurs. There was this whole study, I met this guy in Dallas who did it, and he was like, majority of the time because companies don't see their worth of what they are, or they get hired and they're like, oh my gosh, I can do this with my eyes shut, you know, and they go to the top and they've maxed out. So they become entrepreneurs. So what I love about this conversation is the tactical steps that you took. And I think marketing is huge piece, because you can have the best product, you can have the best, you know, philosophy, but if you can't get your message out there, then you are just dead in the water. You're great. So when you were talking about that and finding your target market, what are some tips that you can give other entrepreneurs that are listening that helped you find that target market? And also let go of the rest of the market, because that is, I mean, I've dealt with that myself, like, but I can serve everybody. Right? You know, like everybody needs this, everybody needs that. So can you give some like tips of that for these, you know, maybe new entrepreneurs or people that have been in the business but are stuck?
And for me, Danny, I think no matter what business you're in, we're in the apparel business. I don't care what business you're in, you really need to define that niche. How are you going to be different? How are you going to be unique? How are you really going to set yourself apart? And apparel, I mean, think of all the brands. We could probably sit here and name 100+ brands. And the niche that we found that we're really pushing is where it's made. And to give you a benchmark, when I graduated from West Point in 1993, over 50% of the apparel in the U.S. was made in the U.S. Today, I mean, it's less than 3%. Less than 3% is all that's made here. So inherently, with just those numbers, I mean, that is a niche that no one else is playing. And what I tell everybody is we have to have amazing product. It doesn't matter where it's made. So when somebody looks at it, and you've bought our t-shirts, Danny, most people say, dude, that's my new favorite. Wow, it's incredibly soft. The print is water-based, so it's soft, it's tagless. And they're like, it's made here in the US? And then they start to learn about our brand. That's when they say, it's our new favorite. Or they look at the polo and say, you know what? The performance moisture wicking fabric is amazing. The color, it doesn't roll. And then they look at the tag and like, it's made in the US. that, I think it's got to start with amazing product, amazing service, whatever business you're in, and the niche that we define that really starts to get into our marketing and branding that we talked earlier is nobody's doing what we're doing.
No. No.
For us, so yeah, Dina, I was going to touch on that too, because after NAFTA is really when the apparel in the country really just went between Mexico, Canada, and everything. We had the no tariffs on it and duties. So that was really, I think, the turning point in the 90s when that happened. And being in North Carolina, this is one of the textile industries of the entire country, especially for hosiery. So before that, I would say, I can have my numbers wrong, but I think it was close to like 75% of all hosiery was made here, and then it just disappeared. So fortunately, we still have amazing factories that are here that still have their doors open. And I think as companies focusing on that made in the USA product who might just be coming into it for the first time, it's really important because we can't backtrack what's happened, but we can start and say, okay, I really want to support made in the USA or local made and sustainability and give back to our local community. And so what I would say too, on top of that, is customer service. Customer service, I think, is one of the driving forces of having a good brand. You need to have a good product. You can't have a crappy product. But even if you have an okay product that can compete in the market, if you have superb customer service, you will blow other competition out of the water, because that's what's going to create your repeat customer who's going to come back and trust your brand and trust you.
Yeah.
Do you ever get kickback at all from, your target market, or kickback at all in general? And how do you handle that? How do you handle any negativity? That is huge, because that can destroy people, destroy ideas and business. So I want to make sure you guys answer that before we're done. How does that work in your world?
Yeah, I will tell you, it's not easy when criticism is volleyed at you, because they're attacking the essence of who you are. And I will tell you, from a good standpoint, we've had some incredible national media exposure. I've been invited on Fox and Friends twice. I've had a feature story in Forbes magazine. I've been on Yahoo Finance. So we've been the benefactors of some amazing press. But sometimes people will go ahead and say, okay, on Fox and Friends, they put you in this camp. And I had one person accuse me of being racist. And like, of all things, because they associated Fox and Friends, the Fox News Network, with racist. And I'm like, I was blown away, because that's the least thought. And I mean, we've been so intentional about being a brand, being a company, being a culture that, celebrates diversity. I believe our country was founded on that melting pot principle, where all countries, all nationalities coming together. And this is where, as the leader, as the founder of Authentically American, I need to not only talk a good game, I need to walk it. And I don't have it here, but to show you a picture of my family and see that we have an African-American child, that discussion was done.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe I should have done a little research first before I volleyed that accusation.
Google search first. I mean, come on.
Oh my goodness. I would have to say, this might have something to do with us still being small, but we have not had any criticism thrown at us, and we haven't had any returns of product or anything. So I'm knocking on wood, because I know once this goes live, they're all gonna be like, oh, wait a second, I think I have something I can return. But I think I'm attributing that partly to still being so young in the business and in the industry, but we really do strive for that superb customer service, and we do whatever we can to make it right if there ever is an issue. And so I think with that, in combination with our give back to the military, and that truly it is in our DNA that we want to support the community as a whole and do what we can, that maybe people are less likely to say, hey, I don't like this fairy fox, but I haven't had any negative feedback from that yet. So thankful for that.
Well, that's good. We're going to keep that going.
I'm sure it will. I'm sure my days are numbered.
I want to give a quick shout out. I can't see everybody because I try to, but Andrew's on here. He says, hey, he's out there. He's, what's up, Dean?
Hello, Andrew.
Andrew's just a dear friend of mine, dear friend of Dean's. He will be a friend of yours now, Al. Just wait.
Yes.
Hi, Andrew.
And Russell over in Seattle is watching in. He's like, I love socks in the winter. So, so I can't go backwards. But there's some huge takeaways that I am going to definitely, like, new entrepreneurs, whether you're military or not, you guys got some tips. And even for, I think, businesses that have been around, like myself, I was like, you know what? It's good to do a review. It's good to go back to the basics, to remember why you started, what you're doing, the steps, the strategic planning, that marketing, because marketing does change with environment and where you are. I mean, it's always, so you got me thinking anyways. My wheels are turning. So I appreciate you very much. Is there anything else? I want to give you this last little bit where you can tell people like where to find you, all that stuff. Of course, it's going to be, also in the thread and people can click on it. But I want to give you your 2 seconds of spiel because you can say it better than I can. I won't even try.
So Authentically American, very simple. We are a veteran-owned, American-made apparel brand. Everything, no exceptions, is made right here in the U.S. And we have amazing product. We have an even better brand story. And if you want to find more about us, visit authenticallyamerican.us. And Danny, I'll make it even easier. If you want a 25% discount, you can enter the code FOUNDER. Spell out FOUNDER, and that will be a 25% discount on any product.
Ah, sweet. I can go load up. Love that.
I love it. My name is Elle Ruger. I am with Soldier Socks. It's spelled SOLEDIER, like the sole of your foot. It's a play on words. Our website is www.soldiersocks.com. And we offer all the time a 20% discount to all veteran, military, first responders. And we are actually about to open up to all hospital doctors and nurses as well, and EMTs. So
I do actually, you can pick a place where you want to donate to, Elle. What do the names mean?
The names. So the names are after the people who inspired that sock. So for example, the friend who inspired the mission, his name was Thomas. So that's the Thomas that we are donating to our troops. And then we have the Snyder, which is named after my husband's grandfather. The Hetzler is named after my uncle who went to West Point. So they're all named after service members who either the sock was designed with them in mind or we thought of them after it came to be.
Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Well, thank you guys. And Andrew's going to grab some socks. I'm going to go use my founder coupon. I mean, it's a win-win. I got some good business knowledge and revamping of myself. So thank you for sharing your wisdom. And thank you for taking your passion and letting go of, all of the fears that I know it takes when you jump in a business and give it your all. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate you supporting not just our troops, but America. Like, God, I love this country. Like, so much. So I can't say more than that. So thank you. And until next time, everybody, I hope you join our table.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Elle.
Nice meeting you, Dan. Thank you, Danny.
You are welcome. Thank you.